welcome on into another episode of Play by Play with JJ. Okay, first of all, first things first. Okay, if you're new to my channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon, and so that way you know when I either go live or when I upload to YouTube. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be a little bit of a different cast here. Okay, so we don't I wanted to just clear something up first of all. So we don't just do play by play. I know it's like in the title of the channel. I understand that. But the thing about play by play is that when you're an announcer, you're a storyteller. And as storytellers, it's really important that you connect with your audience and you connect with the viewership and the people that tune in. So I want to establish that connection. And I think that there's times to do it and where it's really appropriate. And I felt like tonight it was really appropriate for me to just come on here and try to do that with you guys. I know that this is a sensitive conversation. It's tough, it's challenging, but I figured it would be therapeutic for all of us that saw what we saw last night. Okay. I'm going to start off with this opening monologue here. I'll get to your comments in just a second, but please feel free to chime in and express yourself in the comments section down below because this is a big topic, and this is not only eye-opening, but it also is just important because it brings people together, and that's what it's supposed to do. I was up here last night. I was doing play-by-play for the Sixers game, and the game's over. I'm happy that they won. And I go downstairs after the game's done, and my mom and my dad are looking at me. And they said to me, Jason, the Monday Night Football game is on pause right now. And my mom told me that some player for the Bills, some safety, got injured. And he was unconscious. And he was on the field, and an ambulance was there and took him right away. And they still haven't decided whether or not to even call the game. Now, from personal experience, okay, I decided, okay, before I get into that, I decided that I was going to go into the living room to watch the coverage because as horrible as this situation was for Damar and his family, I felt like the broadcasting coverage side of things would be something that I should take notes on because I want to be the best broadcaster that I can be. I want to be good at my job. And Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Waters, Scott Van Pelt, Ryan Clark, all of these people were put in an uncomfortable situation on the air. That doesn't even include everybody behind the scenes. And by listening to what they had to say about it all, it was really just shocking to me. It was unprecedented. And it just, I just knew that if I listened to them, if I watched them, if I watched their body language, if I watch how the producers and if I put my producer's hat on and director's hat on and like where they were going to go next and all that sort of stuff, what shots they were going to go to, I kind of just soaked all of that stuff in. Now, for those of you that don't know, okay, I'm going to read you exactly what the Bills stated yesterday in their post on Twitter. Okay, it's right here. This was posted by the Bills 18 hours ago. Damar Hamlin suffered a cardiac arrest following a hit in our game versus the Bengals. His heartbeat was restored on the field, and he was transferred to the UC Medical Center for further testing and treatment. He is currently sedated and listed in critical condition. And then 7 hours ago, they stated, Damar Hamlin spent, quote, Damar Hamlin spent last night in the intensive care unit and remains there today in critical condition at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. We are grateful and thankful for the outpouring of support we have received thus far. End quote. That's what they said. Now, his family posted something about 7 hours ago or so, and that was released on Twitter as well. And I'm going to read you that too. Quote, on behalf of our family, we want to express our sincere gratitude for the love and support shown to Damar during this challenging time. We are deeply moved by the prayers, kind words, and donations from fans around the country. We also want to acknowledge the dedicated first responders and healthcare professionals at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center who have provided exceptional care to Damar. We feel so blessed to be part of the Buffalo Bills organization and to have their support. We also want to thank Coach Taylor and the Bengals for everything they've done. Your generosity and compassion mean the world to us. Please keep Damar in your prayers. We will release updates as soon as we have them. Thank you, the Hamlin family. End quote. Now, in just a couple of minutes, okay, I will play. There was a video that was released by Cameron Wolfe, who is a reporter, and the whole interview was posted on NFL Network. And Cameron got to talk to Damar's uncle, and he had some interesting things to say, and I will literally play the video in the background just so that you guys could hear that. But I want to get back to this whole thing about last night. I'm watching from a broadcasting side of things because I want to know like where they're going to go next and how they were going to execute this unprecedented situation. Okay. And from a human side of things, it was tough for me to watch. And I think that we have to be open about this type of conversation. Because when we think about athletes, we call them monsters in a good way. We call them beasts. We call them superhuman. We use these terms because we can't do what they're doing on the court, on the diamond, on the field. And anywhere else. We look up to them because we see what their skills are. And the best of the best, we enjoy watching them because there's just something about them that's special and unique. And at the end of the day, they're just like you and me. They're human. Just like any other person in life. And when you see something like that happen, when you see the ambulance come onto the field, How can you not portray any sort of emotion towards that? When the camera shots are on Josh Allen, Joe Burrow crying, Sean McDermott, Stephon Diggs, and you see the emotion in their eyes, how can you not be stunned by that? And the first thing that I thought of when I saw everything going on, I was a little traumatized. I was. Because it made me think about stuff that's happened, like in the years before. When my brother got really, when my brother passed away. And everything that had to deal with that. He had really severe special needs. And I wanted to just open up this conversation to you guys because when you see something like that happen on TV and you're watching sports to escape from quote unquote reality, that's the last thing that you would think of just as a viewer. Now imagine what it's like being in not only just his shoes, but his family's shoes. His mom was there in the ambulance with him. His teammates and other people that watched that. It's not easy. And I wanted to form this sort of inner circle, if you will. Not just for people like Damar, but for people that were impacted by this sort of situation and for people who are in need of mental health support and that type of stuff during this tough time. So, once again, I will play the clip that was just posted by Cameron Wolf, who spoke to Damar Hamlin's uncle. But I need you to understand that, those were the types of things that were going through my mind as I watched it. And I don't want you to feel like you guys are alone if you guys feel the same way too. And that's why I felt the need to come on here, because I've always, my mom, I got to give her a big shout out here, because there'd be some times where I'd come home from school and she'd be on the phone with somebody just to advocate for my brother. And I learned a lot from that. I learned patience. I learned about how to speak up when something's not right. It took me a little bit of time to do that, but I think that to tie this back into a knot, to tie this back into a bow, I can't just shy away from these conversations, because this not only impacts me, it impacts everybody that watched last night and had a negative viewing, if you will. And I just wanted to give you guys a chance to feel free to express yourselves, because we're all here for each other. We are. So with that, I'm going to play a video that was uploaded about 45 minutes ago about with the Damar Hamlin's uncle interview. Okay. Do I have it connected on here? I don't even think I do. I thought I did. Sorry, bear with me for a sec. I thought I had it connected. I apologize. I guess we're not going to play it on here. Thought I had it hooked up. Okay. Let's try one more thing really quickly, and then we will just move on from this. Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to play it another time. Okay. I apologize about that. But basically, he said in the interview, and I'm going to quote here. Just spoke with Dorian Glenn, Damar Hamlin's uncle, who said his nephew is on a ventilator, but he's improved to 50% oxygen needed after being at 100%. He's still sedated, but main focus is recovering to breathe on his own and healing lungs. Full interview on NFL Network, end quote. So that's at least some sort of positive sign. But it's still really scary, and it's uncomfortable, but these conversations do have to be had, and it goes just beyond the game. Okay, we don't, on this channel, we don't just stick to play-by-play, because the mission goal of this channel, for those of you that don't know, is to utilize play-by-play and the aspect of the storytelling part of it to create connections with people and bonds that can create a community, a strong and powerful community. And that is what this channel is all about. So it's hard, and going into work today was not so easy. But not only am I praying for Damar and his family, but everybody that knows him, obviously, and everybody that was negatively impacted by what they saw last night. But yeah, all right, let's open up the chat here, see if any of you guys responded. But all right, so we don't have anybody in the chat right now, but that's totally fine, because for those of you that are here, just by you guys being here, it means a lot. It truly, truly does. But don't shy away. If you have something to say, feel free to express yourself, because that's what I want to do for you guys. It's funny because we don't even know. A lot of us don't even know who he is, as a person, but we feel like now we know him. And I just think that it's important for us to just acknowledge that we're here for each other, and that we don't, as competitive as we are about our sports teams and our franchises, Um, sometimes things just sometimes it's just more about life. I'm trying to hold back tears. I think I was like when I tried to go to bed last night, I was probably staring at my ceiling for probably an hour. Because it was traumatizing. It was very difficult. But as hard as it is to open up about it and discuss like how you feel, this is what creates bonds, strong and powerful bonds. I remember when, and I know that this is a little bit off topic, but you'll see where I'm going with this. I remember when Laura Ingraham came out with the whole shut up and dribble thing to LeBron. And how LeBron was criticizing, U.S. politics at the time with the with the president, and he gave his opinion on something, and he came out the next day, and he said, "We will not shut up and dribble. We're not just going to play basketball and shut up. That's not what we do." And I just, whether it's, I don't know, I just felt like that it was important for us to do that. So feel free to chime in to this conversation. It's hard, it's difficult, it's challenging even to just get through this. But I want you guys to see my human side. And I want you guys to get to know me for who I am. And I want to get to know you. I can't see you guys. I know how many people are on here, and that's nice. But I'm a one-on-one type of a person. And I just hope that you guys are doing okay and that this open conversation is therapeutic, if you will. I went into work today and I was listening to Ryan Clark talk again. Ryan Clark, for those of you that don't know, is an ESPN analyst who was a former safety. And everything that he said to put it in perspective of a former NFL player who was a safety, his words were very powerful. And sometimes you kind of have to put yourself in other people's shoes, even though you don't understand the full impact. You get at least an idea. And I thought that there were some really powerful things that he said last night. And I listened to it again today, and I have nothing but respect for him and for how Joe Buck and Troy Aikman and everybody handled what was unprecedented and unforeseen, if you will, with how last night was going to go. And that's not easy. It's really not easy. And for everybody on Good Morning Football today, it was tough. It was tough. And we don't know how tomorrow's going to go. But it's just super important that we bring up these types of conversations because I've always believed in mental health awareness. And I've always believed that, player safety always comes first in a sport. And that's why I mostly side with the Players Association on a lot of things. But sometimes we just can't, if we critique sports, sometimes we have to shy away from that. And we have to talk about things that are important in this game, in this sport called life. As hard of a reality as that is. But I also find it really interesting too that when you just look at it from a marketing standpoint, you know, you think about like what if they did play the game last night? Well, I'm sure that not only would have fans like left the stadium, but people would have turned the game off because that's a statement issued by a lot of people that, you know, even if somebody gets severely injured on the field, and even if that person ends up passing away, we're moving on and we're going to finish the game because it's about the game. And that's not what it's about. It's more than just the game. And the NFL, have to give them a lot of credit because they made the right decision. So, I didn't prepare a speech or anything like that. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be going on here. Again, if you want to chime into the conversation, if you want to join, if you have something that you want to get off your chest, feel free to post it in the chat. I'll give you a shout out. This isn't to make anybody feel uncomfortable, but I just wanted to create this inner circle, if you will, for you all, for, sharing stuff that is just going to be said within this room, because I care about you guys and I care about all my viewers and my listeners. And we have to be there to support one another. As much as we have to support Damar, we got to think about ourselves too. I remember the day when Kobe died, and I found that out. I probably cried for about 2 hours. And the amount of people that texted me and were like, Jason, I hope you're doing okay. That meant a lot to me. And some people don't always have that support. They don't have that support system. Even when my brother passed away, I had a lot of people reach out to me too. I did. And, those types of things are life-changing. And when we're talking about just a routine hit that somebody takes like right into the, the chest or even into any sort of a body area, and something like that happens and they have to go through cardiac arrest, that's life or death. And it's really serious. And we can't just take that I don't want to say for granted, but we shouldn't take that for anything else than, just our human emotions. We have to let our instincts kick in. And we have to be there to support each other. So, but that's what I wanted to do today, or tonight, if you will. So many people have said that, it's okay not to be okay. But sometimes when you're not okay, like it's not okay. And I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard. They say that sometimes a picture dictates more than 1,000 words, but I think that there is a certain thing about that when you look at it from a sound perspective on silence. I'm like watching Good Morning Football today, and there was like no music that I could recall. And that portrays the emotion that is supposed to be felt. And I think that silence portrays a lot of words too. It can, if used properly. But yeah, I don't want to see anything like that happen ever again. And we have to start thinking about not just how to have these conversations with people and not just to open up about it, but we also have to, take a step back sometime. That the reason why we love sports is because we love the camaraderie, the uh, we love the hard working mentality, if you will, and not only what these players and what these coaches can do, but it's more so about like what types of lessons that you take out of it. And the whole objective of a sport is to um you know to win, and to win means, to me, it's to take advantage of other people's mistakes, and to do that as many times as possible. And I know that this just goes beyond that. But I'm not gonna lie, as soon as I saw that, at first I tried to, just really focus on the coverage of everything, but I seriously just could not help but think about my brother. And it was tough. It was really tough. But I used to be really quiet. When I was like in first grade, I used to be really shy. And sometimes like there's moments where I never like spoke up and physically uh, talked or expressed myself as to how I was feeling and what was going on inside me. And it may have taken me 2 bad semesters at my school to realize that that's not okay. As hard as it can be to open up about yourself when things aren't going right, you can't just bottle everything up inside. You have to be more, I don't want to say vulnerable, but you have to be more open, and you have to be willing to adapt to situations. And I think that lesson, that those experiences have actually allowed me to turn into the person, the broadcaster, and most importantly, the human being that I am today. And I want to be an inspiration for other people that are out there to, give other people a platform, utilize my platform to give other people an opportunity to be able to not only just connect with and build a community with, but also to just give them an opportunity to express themselves if what they have to say is apropos. So I hope that I'm doing that for you guys tonight. And I thank you all for all your support. It means a lot to me. I'm trying to hold it together. But yeah, I think that I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Um, it's important for me to say that I love you all, and I think that we need to kind of be like a little bit more open about these types of things, and we have to support one another. I've always been the type of person that has been really compassionate. My mom will always tell you the story, if she ever met you, that there were some times where I used to oversleep and I used to go to classes and I would, I would go to school and I'd miss the bus because I'd oversleep. Typical Jason Joseph. And she took me into school one day and I was late to class. And there was a couple of students that were coming off this bus who had really severe special needs. And they were in wheelchairs. And even though I was running late to class, the first thing I thought of is just to hold the door for those people. Because I thought to myself, well, not only is it the right thing to do, but how would I feel if somebody didn't hold the door for my brother or his nurse and did that on purpose? I feel guilty. And my mom, she was mad at me, she wasn't mad at me for, she realized that like she couldn't be mad at me for doing that because that was just the right thing to do. And to the moral of the story is that I want you guys to realize that this is an environment where you can feel like, things will be filled with compassion, things will be filled with support, and other terms like comfort and expression and those types of things. I think I'm just babbling on at this point. So, but I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. I know that this was a little bit different than how things usually go. We still got 76ers basketball tomorrow, but I've just felt like if I ignored this and if I didn't talk about it, I'm doing myself a disservice and I'm doing you guys a disservice because that's who the Jason Joseph brand is. That's what the play-by-play with JJ brand is all about. We go beyond this. We go beyond the game. We go beyond the storytelling, and we tie it all together by forming a strong community with one another. Excuse me, as I just burp. All right. So we got 76ers basketball tomorrow. I hope to see you guys there. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you'd like to, feel free to obviously comment down below. And if you guys don't want to comment, feel free to email me. Feel free to email me. It's jasonjosephonair@gmail.com. And if you guys ever want to have these types of open conversations again, or if you saw something and you were negatively impacted by that, I want you guys to feel free to email me because this is what we do. We support each other. So, all right, I'm gonna get going, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you all so much. I will catch you all tomorrow night on 7 basketball play-by-play. And once again, feel free to email me at any time for any type of support, whether it's related to sports or whatever. All right.